Today we are joined by Alex Barranco. Apologies for the pronunciation. Who's a senior researcher for food and safety control with AZTI. So Alex, we're here today to learn more about your work on biosensors and the work that and the impact that can have for food quality and assessment. So thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you and for the invitation to participate in this interview.
We're delighted to have you here today. I'm going to jump straight in and I was going to ask you, can you just describe your research for us and tell me a bit more about the work that you're doing?
Yeah, okay, yes. My background is chemistry, in particular analytical chemistry. Yeah. So, and I did my PhD in the development of new tools for the detection of different chemical contaminants. So my expertise is related with new tools, detection and chemical contaminants. Yeah. And my work in AZTI has been always focused on this, on the detection of chemical contaminants. At first, it was more related with toxicology. I'm not a toxicologist, but I support my colleagues that are working on toxicology aspects of chemical contaminants by developing methods and measuring this kind of chemical contaminants in different food items, not only seafood, but also vegetables or other kinds of foods. And since then, I've been working on the development of, as you said, biosensors or new sensing technologies in order to provide, I could say, the food industry mainly, but also other different end users with new tools that they can implement in their operating procedures in order to measure different, in this case, chemical contaminants in an easy and rapid way.
Yeah, and that's kind of leading on to my next question. So just about how your work, so it's very relevant then for, let's say, aquaculture producers in terms of sensing the quality of food.
Yeah. As I said, I've been working with chemical contaminants and the work developed in different projects, European projects that we have been working on. That was Easy Safe Seafood project and also Seafood Tomorrow project. Yeah. In both projects, we have working on the development of different kind of tools for the detection of mainly emerging chemical contaminants that don't appear in the legislation, that are not regulated.
Okay. Yeah.
So yes, and they are mostly environmental contaminants that might be occurring in the ocean, and in the end it can enter in the food chain through the seafood, and in the end can pose a risk to consumers, for example. That's so for the aquaculture sector. I think it's also important to know where are they farming, and the quality of the water, and also the quality of the products, not only for chemical contaminants, but also for other type of contaminants, like, for example, that are also very important, like marine toxins, for example. This is also a big issue for the sector.
So you're kind of taking a look at the whole picture, really. So it's not just the fish itself; it's the environment and everything going on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And what stage is that research at the moment?
Sorry?
What stage of development is the research at? Yeah.
Yeah. Through this project, we have developed well, I could say a proof of concept, and we have worked also on a patent application, because we have found, yes, a suitable technology that allow us the detection of multiple contaminants in just one assay. So in a quick way and a rapid way, we can measure different kind of chemical contaminants.
Okay,
so at first we work with pesticides, and we have moved also for, as I said, into environmental contaminants. And now we are working with marine biotoxins, but all of these kits, I would say, are based on the same technology. And it's a part of this kind of patent that we have been working on. So at this moment, we have, depending on the chemical contaminants, we are at different stages. For example, in the case of pesticides, we are almost at the end in the validation procedures. And But for environmental contaminants, we are trying now to optimize, and also for marine biotoxin, we are now in the optimization phase. And we hope that by through the next year we will come to first kit or to first prototypes that can be tested.
Right. Okay. And how does that compare to other solutions that are available at the moment?
Yeah, that's a good question, because also we know that there are also many other kits on the market for measuring a lot of things, a lot of contaminants. I think that the main advantage of our product would be the multi-analyte measurement that we can do, because not all, but most kits that are available in the market are based on ELISA technology, and is more focused on just one contaminant or a family of a group of contaminants, a very small group of contaminants. But our kits tried to measure more contaminants, more groups, and also from different chemical classes. And I think that it could be interesting in case of for example, in case of marine toxins, where you can find are really different groups with different chemical classes and different properties of these toxins.
Yeah. So really, you'd only need one kit then to survey the whole area, do all the tests.
Yes,
okay.
I think that's
Brilliant.
the most advantage, because in terms of sensitivity or time of response, I think that we are more or less comparable with what is in the market. But I think that the most advantage is the multi-analyte of capacity of the test.
Yeah, and you probably save a lot of time as well.
Yes,
doing lots of tests. Yeah, that's key, I think, for people these days. Absolutely. And you've kind of told me a little bit about it already, but can you tell me a bit more about the next steps for this research? So what's the plan now for the next year or 2 years?
For the next year is, as I said, to continue the optimization of different kits for different chemical contaminants.
Yeah.
And also to achieve or to get a prototype, a first prototype that can be tested in real operating conditions, because the aim of the kit is not to be used in a lab, it's to be used in the field by the end users in their facilities. So our aim is to have this kind of kit ready to be tested in this kind of facilities, and also to talk with end users in order to adapt also the protocols, because we have developed the kits in our labs in a controlled environment, and maybe we have to adapt some things because they cannot be already implemented in the facilities of the end user. So it's also very interesting for us to talk with end users or potential end user or stakeholders in order to set adequate protocols and in order to be very useful this kind of kits.
Yes, it's a practical solution, isn't it? So it has to be ready for the real world.
Yes. Because, for example, in the case of pesticides, after talking with end users, we have to modify our protocol. The final protocol is not the best one that could be performed in a lab, but it's useful and achieves the necessary requirements for the end users, and they can use it. So that's why it's very important to talk to end users.
Yes, I know, because the more input you get there, the better. You know it's going to work for everybody. Well, that's fantastic. And I think most importantly, I have to ask you, if any of our aquaculture stakeholders want to find out more, where can they do that?
Okay, yes, you can, the sector can contact me by email, not a problem, also through our webpage. So we'll be glad to answer and to talk more about this kind of kits and the things that we can provide them, also with other type of solutions that also in AZTI we are working on.
Okay, brilliant. So what we can do is we can share all that information on the IATiP website. Yeah, so if anyone wants to find out more, they can go there. Or you'll probably be inundated with emails now. You're a brave man volunteering that information.
That's good.
Alex,
that's a reference for the interest of the end users in our solutions.
Yeah, it was great, and we have to share that information far and wide. It's really important. Yeah, thank you very much. So I want to say thank you very much for joining us today and for your time.